There are no parts that we need to exile off the island and cut off contact with. All parts of us, including the painful ones, can pull up a seat and have a cup of tea, right? And feel
Mm.
free to speak
Yeah.
out. And I think that's really the essence of the work. And certainly I notice in my work with clients, like that is the biggest, it's the biggest needle mover is when you can start to speak, when that emotion gets to speak and it gets a voice and it gets to say what it
Mhm.
needs to say and it gets language properly and named properly. All of a sudden, just everything shifts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess as long as you cannot have this conversation with yourself, it's pretty difficult to have it with somebody else, right?
Yeah. It's, and the thing is too, you're right. It's so difficult. And this is why when you come into relationship with yourself in this really profound way, your relationships naturally shift. They naturally get
Mhm.
better usually. And sometimes there's this window, I'm not going to lie, there's a window where there's a bit of a disruption sometimes, a little bit of a disruption, right? Because somebody else is so used to you self-abandoning in order to keep the peace or to be in a relationship that it can
Yep.
sometimes create a little bit of tension in a relationship. And I always say, great, yes, because that
Mhm.
means that you're doing something differently. That means that you're now on the road and you're pointing the compass in a new direction. And now
Mhm.
you have an opportunity to move through that disruption, that bit of transition into something that's just going to serve you and the other person in a more real and supportive way. And
Mhm.
I think that, so it's important to remember if you are going through this work or if you're thinking, geez, if I do that, like I'm cooked, like all my relationships are kaput, they're all gone. Because there's a risk. People are like, I'm not doing the work because I mean, I don't want to not be with my husband anymore. Or I don't want to be my kid. I don't want my kids to hate me, or I don't. So there's this perceived risk that somehow we're going to lose our relationships.
Mhm.
And I think we have to also have that conversation because we can certainly learn in this work how to be in the discomfort, our discomfort, and also be in the discomfort that they're feeling and not react to it and allow that to be part of the experience, part of the journey of moving towards something.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hard one because just like we don't have language sometimes for our feelings or other things that are going on inside of us, we sometimes also, even if we s- know our truth and want to stay in that truth, we sometimes don't have the communication skills, I would say, to have that conversation, to have those difficult conversations, or to start negotiating, because sometimes it's also negotiating about something. We
Yeah.
don't have that. We
Yeah.
don't have that developed. We have those skills, but they're not developed. So that's also an important one to learn how to have those conversations also with other people
Yes.
without going back into this fight or flight models.
And you bring up a great point, Helena, because the when you own yourself in this way, when you really become better friends and you can have a relationship with yourself as you do with somebody else, right? All of a sudden, you can start to name, you can start communicating. You can actually say from a place of I. And this is the problem. When people don't have that, when they don't have that fluency, the languaging, they have nothing to replace it with. So it's always you because they don't know how to speak from a place of I. They don't know what to say. They don't know what they're feeling.